Boom, 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 boom. Mm-hmm.
I'm a spirit speaking, truth seeking, heart reaching, knowledge leaking, seed sowing, harvest reaping, man real. I have yet to leave, I'm still breathing to quit. I have no reason. I'm a student, I be trying to live my dream. I cannot even act if it's all easy. Either you don't do it or you don't really. It ain't no in between, baby. You can ask the sun, it's an everyday thing. Consistency in your routine is how you bring reality.
Working like a slave, that's how I made a masterpiece.
Living like a god, I lay at night, I rest in peace. They remember me, but I cannot go around with me.
MyPDFBooks.com. That's books with a Z.
Once again, the broadcast has been brought to you by MyPDFBooks.com. That's books with a Z. We're reading fundamental. Also brought to you by FindItBooks.com, where treasures are found. Be sure to get all of your teas at herbsofmyaunt.com. My aunt son's teas come with 2 of teas, divinely prepared. Also, be sure to check out all of those musical thousands by Brian Hicks Bate at bhbaymusic.com. Also, for your everyday items and religious regalia, be sure to check out wardshaberdasher.com. And for that everyday especial ward strip, be sure to check out wardsactions.com. And all of these companies are powered by AO Design Pro. Design your online business strategy today. And without further ado, we introduce to you Chief Kareem Goodman-Bey.
Peace, 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 family. How y'all feeling?
Excellent. Peace and love, Chief. Peace and love.
I hear something in the background. Can somebody turn that down a little bit? They don't mind? Sound like I hear a TV or something. Gratitude is my attitude. But before I get started, man, can we get our Moorish American prayer if you don't mind?
Yes, sir. Allah, Father of the universe, Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is our protector, our guide, and our salvation, by night and by day. Through his holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, Shalom Malakim, Ayah Ash'ari, Hotep, Islam, Amen, and peace, 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 peace.
Peace, 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 Malik.
Peace, peace, peace.
I missed you this morning, man, but I did get it in, man. Absolutely. I'm not gonna miss it. I did get it in.
Yeah, we showing up, got it in.
I know. I saw like, oh my. It feels good, man. But oh yeah, we're gonna have a good teaching today, man. You know, it's so-called Black History Month and all that stuff, and you know, a lot of people worrying about things because we always teach here at the BBT that history and spirituality goes together, and we're not going to be emotional about anything because truth has no sides. And that's what I said here at the BBT. We're not a church, we're a school. The people are the church. That's the gathering. You know, so we're here to resurrect these teachings. And like I said, brothers and sisters, you can add what you want to say. If you want me to stop, please do. Islam?
Islam.
Yeah, Islam. Had a beautiful adapt class yesterday. And, you know, we're going to have a good class today. So I'm just going to give a little preface of some wisdom that go hand in hand with the topic that I'm going to be demonstrating, that the misnomer Black man is the father of civilization, and just continue to show you that you're not a Negro, African-American, a slave. I'm going to continue to show history because the old saying still goes. If you want to hide something from a misnomer Negro, Black, or color, or African-American, put it in the book, you know? And I have to go to what my noble Malik said a while ago when we offer these books that you go on Amazon and they be costing thousands and thousands of dollars. And the reason why Malik said you don't know because you don't have the information. You got to stop saying something is hidden, and we're right here. And here it is. I got 2 more printed copies. Other people are ordering these for me. They was like, man, that book costs thousands of dollars on Amazon. They're like, people not buying this stuff from you and getting this from you. Like, that's why they complain. And I'm telling my people, we right here. When you go on Amazon and see how much this book costs, you're not going to buy this book. You're not going to buy this book. But what's in this book? My people are lost due to a lack of knowledge. It's in here. It's all in here. And we have to read from the right perspective. So we're going to do a little preface before we get into the main topic and in our film. Is that all right?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Okay. So the first thing I want to talk about and to give a little historical preface, because I'm always going to give sources. I'm always going to show you old things that you can get from the BBT. When I say, hey, it's nothing new under the sun. You know, if it wasn't, if it don't mean nothing, why the truth wasn't told, why I can find this, why in scholarship and academia, I wasn't shunned upon when I'm speaking of this. I was looked at a lecturer as a 5%er, a person that know the wisdom and teach it, that be beckoned to come lecture and help people study and get to a new level. That's why I am who I am with my brothers. I'm not worried about nothing else. If the other man look at me like this, you should accept me as well. I'm your brother. And so I'm going to be giving the topic of the Negro question, part 3. And I want us to understand this because, man, what are we afraid of, my brothers and sisters? I don't care if you Christian, Muslim, whatever you proclaim to be. It's all monotheism. I don't care if you a Muslim or Christian. When you start looking at the forefathers, they are the same. But then you have to start studying and reading and connecting the two. History and religion goes together. You have to pull yourself out of it to make it plain for a child can understand. As we get into, I'm going backwards, as we get into the Negro question part 3. But before I get into that, it's other volumes like Lost in Translation and Lost in Mistranslation. I'm gonna go over those documents. My dad had the literature, I just ordered them. And I'm gonna show you how we are caught up in mistranslation. We are caught up in linguistic apartheid, and this proven over and over. That's why I said, man, this is a science and I love it. This is a profession. When I say a profession, man, you have to be anointed and consecrated, not called. Nobody can call me to this. This is a study and a craft. I have to be sincere, and I can't be sincerely wrong in this. So as I come from a historical perspective, let me give you a little preface of this science. And when I use these specific words, I come in no disrespect. European, Albion, Tralodike, etc., whatever you want to call it, knew nothing about the feast of the Lord that has been recorded in the book of Leviticus. And that is a fact. The European, the Saxons, they were busy worshiping Zeus, Thor, Apollo, Aphrodite or Aphrodite, Cupid, Hercules, Jupiter, the same gods that the entire world is worshiping today. And in this volume, it be like a lightning rod of light shining in the midst of great darkness. You will see that the misnomer Black Jews that came down on the day of Pentecost eventually became the Black Roman Byzantine Empire. You will see that that there was a misnomer Black population of kings, priests, peasantry all over Europe until 1800 AD, when the Black presence suddenly and inexplicably was erased. I call it whitewashed out of the history books.
Come on.
This is a fact that will be perfectly proven to you and any other truth seeker in the bowels of this science. Together we will examine the artifacts and the writings of the scribes, the historians, concerning the people who received the letters from the apostles and the 7 churches of Asia, as recorded in the book of Revelations. We will see together that all of these people were misnomer Black, not based on the writings of the scribes of the author, but based on 2 fundamental laws that are married to each other, and that is artifacts and the pen. Artifacts and the pen. In scholarship, I say artifacts and the pen. If the artifact has not been tampered with, painted over, I have these expensive books. Man, y'all have a book that's so expensive right now. All the libraries say they should have them. All this Harvard, Oxford have it, and that's Russian Icons by Vladimir Ivanov. I have these books, and I convert them for PDF, and I've been sharing this stuff, and other people been buying these books for me, and was like, man, thank you for doing this, because they wouldn't buy them. I have plethora of things. I just showed y'all a book on Amazon that costs thousands of dollars. Like Malik said, the reason why you don't know, because you don't have the science. And here it is, a brother that look like you, have a printing press, and college students have this. And it's steady falling on deaf ears. So don't sit up here and say something hidden from us. Only people say that is slaves, Negro, black, and color, and African Americans. Misnomers. Period.
Can we explain what a misnomer is for those people who might not know?
Go ahead.
A misnomer is a term that was given to you by the person who wrote the information, and they changed your name and give you ETC all and categories to what they want you to identify with.
The Atrocities of the Name, Negro, Black, and Color, African American by Brother Moore. I don't even have time to pull it out. I show this all through history. Then we broke down the 13th, the 14th, the 15th Amendment the other day in the DAP class. I showed you what manumissions is. I showed you what the Reconstruction Laws is. And misnomer black people crying about some 14th Amendment, some civil rights. If the 13th Amendment freed all misnomer Negro, Color, and African Americans, what's the use for the 14th and the 15th Amendment? Reconstruction Laws. You can see, and brothers just talking. Because blacks is only as old as who created you. Black has no standing in law. It's civil mortis. This ain't no secret. This is just law. I'm sorry. And then when people be thinking they saying something, try to throw the Dred Scott law in it. Well, the Dred Scott law was never abolished. Blacks had no rights that the European had to respect. Hell, when we talk about the Wilmington white man's constitution, see what they did in Wilmington. See the year that it happened. Understand what I'm saying historically as I proceed.
North Carolina, right?
You say what, Noble?
Wilmington, North Carolina, right?
Yes, sir.
Come on.
Yes. This fact will be perfectly proven to you. And we're going to examine the artifacts, the scribes. We're going to do that. The artifacts is the creation of the human eyewitness of what he saw in his generation. And you're going to tell me when I show you in books like David McRitchie, volume 1 and 2 of the Ancient and Modern Britons, he telling you who the Ancient and Modern Britons are. When I take you to the Netherlands and I take you to Swarty Pite and Black Pete, when I show you the Corsica flag, they know what it is. And yet the pen is the generation, is an open dispute with the eyewitness. So the conflict between the pen and the artifact is based on the sheer madness. The educational institution of the United States and the Western Europe are teaching their students not to believe what came out of the ground, but to believe the lion pen. That's why in Maccabees it tells you that the heathen tried to whitewash themselves in the history books. It is that time that people of like minds, all colors, as the film we're going to play, just like the history I showed you, America in black and white yesterday. And I showed you in the Battle of Bunker Hill, in the book that they give your kids in school, they whitewashed Peter Salmon and Oliver Cromwell out the boat. And I did this I lectured this on the college campus. I have all other people there. And my brothers and sisters don't share me. They talk about something hidden. How can something be hidden? And I have a library with over 1 million documents and books available for you for a fraction of the price. How? How? That's sad. We simply we illuminating the truth and not race come together to investigate the facts concerning world history. So about some black history. This is world history. Just like when I started telling you about Henry Hoosier and show you how dynamic that brother was. And by the time you are through dealing with this science, you will be able to read and write basic sentences in ancient Paleo Hebrew. Having said that, you got to proceed to examine the truth recorded by ancient eyewitnesses of generations that have drifted into the past. Like my dad always say, if we was this, where we at now? We right here. If the Jews ruled Spain forever, who was the Jews? And then, like I said, I don't have no problem with a European Jew. I don't have no problem with that. But when you start reading the science, you got to start understanding the words that are coming out of my mouth. So the next episode is the rewriting of world history and rewriting church history. When I be telling my Moorish brothers and sisters, why are you afraid of church history? And when I start revealing it's all you, then you got to digress. You gonna still keep up with that same stupid fight? Why? Why would you keep up with a fight? And I'm proving from science, from scholarship, from academic, like digress. That shows you that the person is an idiot and a fool. Am I right about what I'm saying?
Most definitely, and egotistical.
Okay, let's deal with a little bit of this because this go hand in hand. I'm a historian. I went to college for history, business, spirituality. I grew up in this. My background is IDMR. I'm not here to destroy, I'm here to fulfill, but I want you to see who you are. History, a channeled version of the Exodus, and one of the stars of Exodus is Ramses, a pharaoh. Remember the 19th dynasty of Egyptian pharaohs. Watch this. What you say if I told you that it's impossible that Ramses could be the pharaoh of the Exodus? What would you say if I told you that the timeline of Exodus was impossible as a $3 bill? The problem that all of the so-called great historians and archaeologists had is determining the Exodus date is the creation date. In fact, I have to make adjustments to 2 earlier books that he published. The creation date that the world is using was given by James Ussher. Research what I'm saying, of the Anglican Church, 4000 BC, and it's Rome. See, I did this in academia. One day, when they were trying to correct the Exodus date, as a historian, you use the algorithm, back into the date, which is to say you back into the correct date. And since you can't trust the writings of modern historians, you have to use what you could trust. And that was the word of the angel Gabriel. This is the angel that showed up to Zacharias in the book of Luke. Fact check me, Luke 1:19. And it stated that he stood in the presence of God, 16:24. This is the same Gabriel and Daniel. The Gentile nations will rule the world in the book of Daniel, Daniel 7:1-7. Write this down. This angel Gabriel was ordered by God to make Daniel to understand the visions concerning the future rulership of this planet. So this vision is this, in verse 4, that the lion represent what? Ancient Babylon, which rulership began in what? 609 BC. The next beast is represented by a what? A bear, which is the Medo-Persian Empire, which ruled the earth in 539 BC. The next beast in verse 6 is the leopard, which is the Greek Empire under Alexander the Greek, which ruled the world in 323 BC. And the last beast in verse 7 is the Roman Empire, which came on the scene in 165 BC. Therefore, the dates listed that I just gave are factual as attested to by the carbon dating. You know, the carbon dating utilized by modern historians. So as not to prolong the time, it has been proven that Jerusalem was destroyed by the Babylonians in 587 BC. If you're a Bible historian, and if you add the number of years, 393 years, that the Judean kings ruled over Benjamin, Judah, and Levi, you would arrive at the date for the last year that Solomon ruled in Jerusalem. And the first year of his reign in 1020 BC. And the 4th year of his rulership would be 1016 BC. See, these is facts. When a person be mixing it up, I say, man, don't come to me with that crap. You all out of the time period. You got to be manufactured with the time period. It's just like the case. If the glove don't fit, you must have quit.
You can say that again.
Yes, sir. Now all you have to do is add 480 years to 1016 BC, and you arrive at the correct Exodus date. For what? For the Israelites leaving Egypt. Get your Bible in 1 Kings 6:1. Fact check me. It says that what? The children of Israel came out of Egypt in the year what? 480th year, in the 4th year of Solomon rule. Fact check me. Tell me if I'm making it up. I know I ain't. So the first thing that we have to do is back into the date that Solomon began to rule and subtract what? 4 years of his rulership. Simple mathematics. I'm giving you a schoolmaster. After we have arrived at the correct Exodus date, we can proceed to identify the real Pharaoh of the Exodus. And that was Thutmose the first. Notice the name, Thutmose, Thutmose. This is the last name that was given to the man who led Israel out of Egypt. See, this illumination is going to rewrite church history according to the artifacts that emerged from the earth. And you keep telling you this, and you keep letting somebody tell you there's some other man's story. Man, you a fool. You a fool. The spreadsheet on the next document that I'm going to show is going to show you how I arrived and the author arrived at 1496 BC as the correct Exodus date for the Israelites of the Bible. You see, even when I talk about the Pentecost, watch this. And then I'm going to go to the next topic because we in school. Before we proceed to the rest of this dissertation, I want to show you a portion of what the Egyptologists that asked the question, where's the proof of the existence of kings of Israel, the kings of Judah? You know, the YHWH. When people say Jehovah, no disrespect, I love all my people, but it never was a J in the Hebrew dialect. Jehovah really is Yahweh. I'm trying to tell you. All you got to do is look at it with the right eye. When I show you the Holy Name Bible and the God Name Bible, read the preface. It's going to tell you why the name would need to be brought out today and why certain names shouldn't be used and why the time to bring out the truth. If the biblical scriptures tell you to praise this holy name, what is it? I don't know. Well, that's sorry. I'm sorry, because that's Greek mythology. If you understand linguistics, but the Egyptologists have the right ask the Hebrew Israelites to show them proof outside the Bible concerning Israel's existence. So therefore, if YHWH, just like, man, I wish I go get my, watch this. I'm glad we here at this point. I got it right here. Let's see. Yep, here we go. If you want to go there. All right. Since we're going to go here, when I talk about the YHWH, this little book right here is the Jehovah's Witness so-called with a Bible. This is the first one before it was rewritten and tampered with. You see it's falling apart, but I converted it to a PDF. So anytime they come with anything, I say, stop that mess. I'm an educator. I have to have all the wisdom. That's why I'm a holy man. That's why when I'm out here in Arizona and I say, well, all the other people call me Melchizedek. Watch this. In the Jehovah's Witness manual on page 18. Wait, let me go. Matter of fact, let me go to who is God. Man need for God. No, I'm going to go to the bottom part. To distinguish himself from the many false gods, the true God has given himself, listen to this, a personal name. This sets him apart from all others. It's not God, G-O-D, his name. Some may ask, no, for God is merely a title. Just as president, king, and judges are titles. God's personal name is made known to us through his word, the Bible. And that name, they say Jehovah. But watch this, I'm teaching you, it's Yahweh. It never was a J in the Hebrew dialect. I'm showing you in academia. Remember, 2 V's was a W. I'm teaching you scholarship in academia. In many translations of the Bible, the name is found in Psalms 83 and 18, where we read that men may know that thou, whose name alone is Jehovah, Yahweh, art the most high over all the earth. And in almost all translations, the name is found in Revelations 19, 1 and 6 as part of the expression Eloah or hallelujah. This means praise Jah. Remember, it never was a J in the Hebrew dialect. I understand that from my Ethiopian brothers and my Rastafarians. I get it, but it never was a J in the Hebrew dialect. A shortened from Jehovah, Yahweh. The Catholic Encyclopedia, 1910, volume 8, page 329, says of this divine name, Jehovah, but it's really Yahweh, the proper name of God in the Old Testament. However, the Jerusalem Bible, a recent Catholic translation, regularly uses the name Yahweh. regularly use the name Yahweh. I didn't say sometimes. I didn't say, well, when ain't nobody around, when you don't want to scare nobody. I ain't say that. When people say, why you say the name Yahweh? Because that's the holy name. What do we talk about? I understand Greek mythology. You can't get Yahweh out of Jesus. That's a mistranslation. That's not a transliteration. I'm educating you. I understand. Believe me, I understand, but you can't say what the Bible says because that's not what the Bible says. Yahweh, as do a number of older translations. Older translations. Why is that? Because in the Hebrew, the language in which the first 39 books of the Bible were written, God's name is represented thousands of times by 4 Hebrew letters, the YHWH. And then I already showed you in the science where you get the name Yahweh, the A and the E, the Adam and the Eve, the masculine and the feminine, or the Baphomet, which is written Kabbalistically, which a lot of misnumbered black people are afraid of. In ancient times, the Hebrew language was written without vowels. Remember this? You got to know this. The reader supplying the vowels as he or she reads the words. So the problem is today we have no way of knowing exactly that's what they say. But us as biblical scholars, we know how to do this. You know, we have the Hebrews use alone the consonants YHWH. So many scholars think the name was pronounced Yahweh, but form Jehovah. So how can they say many scholars say it's Yahweh, but form Jehovah? That don't even make sense. That makes no logical sense. Many scholars think the name was pronounced Yahweh, but the form Jehovah has been in use for many centuries and is most widely known. But that don't say it's correct. It said it's most widely known. That to me is an oxymoron. See, that's an oxymoron. Because there is no uncertainty as to the exact pronunciation of God's personal name, but we know. See, we know. That's why I said, what are we afraid of? I can't be a biblical scholar and a truth teller and to be afraid to use the names. I can't. I'll be just like someone else. Who am I afraid of? What am I afraid of? I base my understanding on the biblical scriptures. Prove me wrong through the Bible. You can't. No one. They do insist that you should not use the names of these names, Jesus, Jeremiah. Commonly used pronunciations, Yeshua, Jeremiah. You know, it never was a J. It was always different letters. It wasn't a J in the Hebrew dialect. But the vital point is not what pronunciation, this is what they say. You use for the divine name, whether Yahweh, Jehovah, or some other, as long as the pronunciation is common in your language. It says it's common in your language. What is wrong is to fail to use the name. It says what is wrong to fail to use the name. Why? Because those who do not use it could not be identified with the ones who God takes out to be a people for his name. That's in Acts 15:14. So you can't be, oh, well, I think Jehovah. You know the holy name. I'm teaching you. The Bible says you must be able to teach and preach. Its qualifications for a pastor, a sheik, a map, a guide. But most people like that, oh, he get up there, he was preaching, that feel good stuff. We should not only know God's name, but honor it and praise it before others, as God's son did on earth in Matthew 6:9 and John 17:6-26. But we say praise this holy name. Well, what is it? Am I right about what I'm saying? Are y'all afraid? Because I ain't.
Not at all.
Let's get back into watch. Proof of the existence of the Hebrew Israelites of the Bible and the record of YHWH. Then I get right back into science and start connecting. You identify the problem of the archaeologists and the so-called atheists have concerning the existence of Uriel and YHWH. The world is using a creation date set by Archbishop. I told y'all. That's the fact. Like, I mean, it's too hard. When you look at Jehu's beard and braids or locks, only misnomer blacks had that. The image was taken out of the black obelisk of, y'all ever heard of Shalmaneser? Shalmaneser, found in ancient Assyria. I'm showing y'all when people say, well, the Bible ain't real. Well, we're going to say everything fake then. How about that? Since you want to claim on something, just like my brother said, peace be among his spirit. If you, everything junk. If you're going to say this fake, well, it's coming from this, it's all junk. Now what? Not what you want, not what you got to say. We ain't got to say nothing. Because we're going to say it's all fake then. Because you don't know who you are. The image of King Jehu, king of Judah, and when you read in 2 Kings 9 and 13, the son of King Jehoshaphat. This is the first authentic image of any of the kings of Judah. I'm going to show y'all the picture. And the only reason I'm using the image is that it came off an official monument of the kingdom of Assyria. You probably can't see the picture, but it come off the monuments. And I'm just setting a precedent. I want y'all to know this. I'm giving y'all Bible scriptures. King Jehu is also found in official Assyrian manuscripts. The Egyptologists want the Hebrew Israelites to produce the graves and bones of kings of Judah. The graves of kings of Judah and Israel is in Jerusalem. How do I know this? Read Acts. Second, read Acts chapter 2, verse 29. Come on, y'all. Peter said to David's grave was there in Jerusalem in 29 AD. It didn't just get up and move away. The reason we don't have access to the graves of King of Judah and Israel is because Israelis, they don't allow it. Later in this dissertation, I can show you that King Jehu and the princes of Israel wore fringes on their garments. The only people on the earth who were commanded by the Creator to wear fringes on the bottom of their garments were Israel. When you read Numbers 15, 37 and 41. When people be like, what are you wearing? Man, the followers of Yahshua the Messiah were the turban with the jewel on it. High priest. When you have the lexicon, our garments was cotton or silk with the garment. Remember official time capsule from the days of the Assyrian king, Sennacherib, Sennaccherib. I'm setting the precedent, y'all, to show you. You got to take your history back, in which he describes how he caged King Hezekiah in 2 Kings 16 and 20 and took captive Hezekiah's daughters, male and female musicians. I'm using official royal documents from the nations surrounding Israel and Judah to prove to you that Israel and her kings were in fact real. I'm not going to go into detail about the existence of Israel, her kings, and her God, because it would kill this dissertation. Watch this. I got to give y'all this little piece and I'm going to the next one. So the Karnak inscription. Y'all ever heard of the Karnak inscription? Any of my so-called Egyptologists? This finna be the big earth shaker right here, and I'm going to the next point. Y'all ready? Have y'all ever heard of it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So remember when I said the Technogrammathon and the Metanetter, when a person be talking about, oh, well, this mean that. If I got your alphabet and your signs and symbols, you ain't finna just play with me. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Know the language.
Absolutely.
I might not know it right there, but I say, give me a minute. I know how to decipher it. Why? Because I have the manuscript to decipher it. That's how. So when I show you in the Metanetter, when the owl is A and that arm figure is a B and the foot, you know, it can mean is a B as well, or the cone standing up can mean a C, and the hand going like this can mean a D. Then like a feather up is like that an E. Then a snake is an F. Then like an upside down axe is a G. You know, in certain in the Karnak inscriptions and Egyptian hieroglyphs and things. I'm about to make a precedent. Watch this. So y'all see those signs and symbols at the bottom of the page, right?
Yes, sir.
What do those signs and symbols say underneath?
Yahweh. YHWH.
Okay.
That's what.
Okay. So what I just showed y'all from the Karnak inscription using the ancient Egyptian alphabet. That's what the Karnak inscription is. It's the ancient Egyptian alphabet. We can translate this monument of Pharaoh. See, this don't take no rocket science. That's what I be telling when the court jester comes, because they dressed up looking like me. That don't mean they me. You caught up with the pageantry and the puff. The scripture says, man, I want to see a sermon. I don't want to hear it. He dressed up looking like sheep. You ain't putting no application. We got to stop celebrating stupidity.
Start celebrating education.
You damn right.
Academia.
And stop saying this is some white man stuff. I'm tired of hearing goofy. The only people say that is slaves.
Yep.
Point blank. Only people say that is slaves. 14th Amendment slaves. Point blank, man. I'm a Ziggian. You better research that. I always been free. You'll never research history. They got the black slave and the freedmen. Okay, not the freedmen. I said the freedmen. Who was the ancient freedmen? Amazigians. Research it for yourself. Berbers. Research it for yourself. You ain't gotta listen to me. You ain't gotta listen to me. But you gonna learn today. Using the ancient Egyptian alphabet, we can translate this monument of Pharaoh. The two paddle-like symbols, it represents the Y in ancient Egyptian. The H is the symbol that looks like a sideways G. I'm gonna show you again. And the other H is the rope-like image. And the bird symbol is the Y, is the W. Add the letters together and you get YHWH, unmistakably. Not no JV or whatever. Unmistakably. Brothers and sisters, but brothers, this is Pharaoh. That he mentions YHWH on his monument. And actually, brothers and sisters, it reads the land of Shashu or Shasu, SHASU of YHWH. So if you are a true Egyptologist, you should be able to read these ancient Egyptian symbols. How? Using Egypt's alphabet, just like I did. That's the ancient alphabet. It's another beautiful point here. It proved that if you have the alphabet of a civilization, that you can go where? Backwards in time and do what? Read their artifacts and manuscripts. You don't have to attend a government-sponsored institution. But I will want you to come and kick it with what? Kick it with us at the BBT. Because I done went through the fire for you. I can show y'all older surviving images of Abraham in the National Museum in Damascus in Syria. Don't look like what you think. I'm telling you. But let me go to the next because I got to get around because I don't want to be too long because I want my Nova to play this film. The next, we got the Negro question in chapter 4. This was part 3. This was part 4. I'm going backwards. I'm setting the precedent. In this dissertation, we got to shed light on the missing link between two sciences. What? History and genetics. We have been trained to trust without question what we are taught in academia. Absolutism of the United States. Now a new science has emerged that has produced results and are in direct conflict with history that is being taught in the classrooms. That science is genetics. But what is the issue? This pebble in the shoe that is pitting genetics against history. The world history that is being taught in the classroom amid the existence of the misnomer Black Scots, the Black Irish, the Black Brits, the Black Italians, the Black French, or the Black Europeans that were sold directly into the American slave plantations. The history that is being taught in the classroom is a direct conflict with the eyewitnesses of the artifacts, the DNA, the surnames of the blacks in America. The Great Omission has caused the public to view both institutions in a fraudulent and suspect manner. What is the solution to this problem? What is the missing link? The Negro question part 4 is the missing link. Watch this. The scholars, the scientists, the historians are confused, but let's see. I'm going to show y'all the eyewitness period. Write this down with your pens. Saint Brendan, the navigator, the Irish priest from Ireland. James Anderson, 1911, The Riddles of Prehistoric Times. And I quote eloquently with a silver tongue. This little black Welshman, Scot, Celt, settled in France, Ganasins of Canary Island, France, Ireland, Spain, and the British Islands, and all over Europe. Professor Winchell Alexander, Our Remote Ancestry, 1815 to 1900, collections of journals. These short black men came from Atlantis, Northern Africa, and they overran Europe. They were known as Britons. What? The ancient Imater Britons that David MacRitchie wrote about. He wrote 2 volumes. Roman historian Tacitus, the origins of the Black Britons. The Iberians are black people with curly hair. Anthropological Review Society, London, Volume 8. Joseph Ritson, Annals of Caledonian Pits and Scots, Volume 2, page 7 and page 27. The Pits, the Brits, are brown complex with curly hair. Our scholar, peace be among his soul, Ivan van Sertima, African presence in early Europe, on page 225. The Britons look like the Ethiopians. Albert Churchward, 1912. Albert Churchward signed the symbol of the primordial man. I have all the books. Origins and Evolutions, pages 12 and 13. I quote, the Black Basque were exterminated from, not Africa, Europe.
Come on.
Yes, sir, Brian. Professor Boyd Watkins, our earliest ancestors. Bygone days, a lecture delivered in the public hall. Collyhurst, Manchester, 1/8/1879. And I quote, the ancient Britons, Irish, Scots are a short black people, page 103 and 107. Dr. Thurman, Nature Journal of Science, page 92. From the evidence at hand, it seems that the Iberians, aka the black man, occupied the whole Western Europe at one time. He said the whole of Western Europe at one time. I wish I had some gunshots and some boom. I need to give me somebody what they call shots, somebody to be in there. I don't know what that word. Yeah, I need me somebody to be my background man. Like we in church when they be saying something and a ding 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 ding.
I'm getting a fire in the background.
My wife said you want her to get up here and beatbox with some sound effects. Yeah. But the Iberian, the Basque, the black bones have been found where? All over Europe with their animals. It said all over Europe. So I just inserted writings of 8 English historians, what we call white, to show you that our white brethren who were closer to the epicenter didn't have a problem telling the truth about the original inhabitants of Europe. These Welshmen, these Britons, these Irishmen, Frenchmen, Russians, just like when I talk about they wasn't no ancient black, what were they? Russian icons. When you see misnomer Negroes on YouTube and they say these ancient blacks, ain't no ancient blacks in no Russia. Black was never used to describe ethnicity in the 1st century. Sorry, Charlie. Russians, Germans, Italians, and Swedes were in Europe thousands of years before the English arrived in 1449. In 449 AD. And this will be proven by the writings of Professor Boyd Watkins, professor of genealogy at Manchester University, London. Watch this, y'all. Then we're going to go to the next point. This is what he said in the hall in Manchester, London, January 18th, a day before my birthday, 1879. And in his lecture, he gives a detailed account of the people who originally inhabited Europe. And without blushing, this is what he said. No, I don't want to read it. Y'all want me to read it. Y'all want me to read it?
Go ahead.
Well, say, like James Brown say, give me more.
I got the feeling.
See, I feel good when I teach because it's liberating. And if I know it's liberating to other people, just like I show the field, they say, this, you just teaching American history, Sheik. Your people lost because they don't read. Watch this. This is what he said. The original people of Britain, France, Spain, England were short black men of about 5 feet 6 inches in height. They were in England when our fathers, the misnomer white English, invaded the land in 449 AD. Our fathers were a warlike people who by 607 AD have pushed the Basque west into Wales, Cumberland, Westmoreland, the Highlands of Scotland, and Devon. These black people boast that they were citizens of the Roman Empire. The Welsh or the ancient Britons were in possession before the Romans ever came here. These black Basque. You say what, Noble?
They have a park name in England. It's called North York Moor Park.
Yep, they sure do, Noble. They sure do. And these black Basque Britons have brought the knowledge of iron and brass. So the evidence of the civilization can be seen all over the continent of Europe, as well as throughout British Islands, extending far as Germany, Switzerland, to France. When I talk about the Corsica flag, when I talk about in Netherlands, the Zwarte Piet, aka Black Pete, they originated from the Iberian Peninsula, and they are a fragment of the old Spanish population. The Jews, the Moors ruled Spain for 800 years. They were in France, Spain, Ireland, Britain, Scotland. Just like when I start showing y'all politics, no disrespect, I love all my people. But when people say, and the Jews are just in this, that, and the other, I said, what, European Jews? Then brothers, you got to let that black stuff go. You got to understand who you are. You have to. You have, especially if you biblical, you got to be specific with everything that we're doing. Because if the Europeans say they're European Jews, then you got to say, well, you what, you a Moorish Jew? You what? You the Ishmaelite? You don't know this? That's why I be laughing. I say, I don't have no problem with nobody, but I damn sure know who I am.
The Hebrews, the Israelites, the Jews, all the same.
You know, Professor Boyd was right. And he mentioned seeing the specimen of the black Basque from different parts of Europe and states that if you laid them next to each other, you would not be able to tell the course from one another. And the purpose of this is to show you in the beginning of history, the historians of the 18th and the 19th century family had no problem describing the blackness of the early Europeans. Remember, Benjamin Franklin, Professor Boyd Dawkins, and Albert Churchward gave us eyewitness account of the world order in the generation. Remember, Dr. Albert Churchward, eyewitness account gives us a grim description of what happened to the black presence in Europe. The good doctor states, and I quote eloquently, that the blacks became extinct, which means exterminated, by the time he gave his lecture in as early as 1912, family, to the Royal Society in London. It's of extreme importance that we begin to discuss the eyewitness accounts of this English historians concerning the old world order. It has become obvious to me as a researcher, to you, that the ancient medieval and early 20th century historians were describing the old world order in the respective generations. And these historians describe a world in which the misnomer blacks were in power all over the earth. And from the vantage point, we shall spring forward into the future to see the secrets of the past. I just want to show y'all one picture and then we'll go on. The Scott King of England. Image location is in New College Library in Edinburgh, UK. So when everybody be talking about the dynamic Bible of King James, that ain't got nothing to do with the melanated people. They always try to whitewash you in the history books. That's what they did. That's why I tell you, Africa was not named after no European. I keep showing y'all this. It was an abdomen. I teach this from a historical aspect. History can't be biased. It's just what it is. That's the King of Scots, the first one. Right there. Everybody know this. So let me go to the next spot and we're going to proceed because I'm on good time. I'm on good time.
Good time. Great time.
Oh yeah. So I'm going to part 2. Watch this. When I talk about the cardiographers, see, I'm setting a precedent to show you all around the world. I don't know what these people talking about, and then I can get modern with it. You don't have no fight when you using these terms today, Negro, black, color, African American, talk about some reparations and talk about some civil rights and some 14th Amendment. You cooked, you toast, you done. It's a wrap. And if you think that means something, man, I feel sorry for everyone. I feel sorry for the person that's leading you, that think that really means something. I feel sorry. You cannot know history. That's civil mortis. It's sad. And we steady doing this. The Constitution has never been changed. Come on, my brothers and sisters. You just got to admit that you don't know and leave everybody else fight alone, because we have a problem with our women going to work and being educated. But a lot of our women, no disrespect, they got on some women's rights stuff. You always had your rights. In moral science, the woman sit on the throne with us. That's what it is in moral science. That's submit. In moral science, you got to come learn and give Caesar back what's his.
They don't get it.
But when the no disrespect, when I use this, I can say Eurocentric or I can say a Negrocentric. Anyway, I'll say both because they both crazy. Just like right now, these Negroes with misnomer black history, they're going to be talking about some Kwanzaa and we black people, we celebrate Kwanzaa. Man, that's garbage. And I don't care how nobody feel about it. If you Santa Claus and all that fake, well, the Negro want to get something fake. That's just like y'all arguing over fake Jordans y'all got from the gas station. Mine realer than yours. No, they both fake.
Yours faker than mine.
Right. You know what I mean? That's Ron Karenga. See what he did? He tortured Asiatic women. All that stuff. Like I said, we got to stop that. We got to give it all back. And now today, no disrespect, me and my empress was talking. I said, look at all the misnomer black churches, what they got on all this month or today, dashikis. What the hell did dashiki got to do with black history? I'll wait. And that's why I said that's why I said I can't mix up with the stupid stuff. Your history only is important here, but you preaching the gospels and you ain't contextualizing the gospels to the people you teaching and preaching it to. Shame on you. And then the the European teach and preach just like me. When I talk about Henry Hoosier, how when he was preaching he was a slave, but then all the Europeans came to him. And when I moved to Arizona, and that's what they say, my oratory skills and my zeal and who I am, my parents should be proud of me. Seeing me as like Wentworth Matthews and all those brothers and Howard Thurman contextualizing the science and synchronize it and bringing a holy place to educate our people.
And your parents are proud of you because they always tapping in. They always here. They always support.
Oh, I know my parents proud. I know.
I
know that. But I said, now, like I said, we digressed as a people, especially as brothers that's Moors. Moors been following me for years. I said, well, are you a spectator or a participator? Oh, it ain't no temple in my city. It don't have to be one. If you want to go to U of M and you don't live in Ann Arbor, you can go to U of M online. You can travel just like anywhere, like you go to see Usher on some skates.
It's nice to have a temple building, but you got to build your perfected temple.
We the temple.
Right, that's the real
online.
And the internet made it accessible because we all from different geographical areas. That's why we are a walking testament, Noble. That's why I said, listen, a person told me a long time ago, they said, you a clean glass. They was like, you steady cleaning house. Me and Malik, you talked about this. We steady cleaning house. Why? Because you can look all my videos on YouTube, anything, and I've been solid from day one. From day one. And the real always is going to take time. Why? Because Negroes chase money. Power people like myself, we chase that power. It ain't no power in money. It's power in us. You got to understand that it's strength in numbers. I understand that. Why? Because when two or more gathered, there's the Holy Spirit. You got to understand what I'm saying.
Come on.
synchronicity.
I hear you.
We have to do this. This is it. When everybody be like, "What should I study here?" Come to the BBT.
You study yourself.
We'll help. Watch this.
I say study yourself again.
Watch this. So when the Europeans, no disrespect, powers carved up Africa, it was the custom of the European kings in those days to send out a cartographer. Now, a cartographer is a map maker to outline and pinpoint his holdings. There was a cartographer, write this down, in 1747, who went by the name of Emmanuel Bowen. I'm giving y'all history. I'm setting the precedent. This man held the title of royal cartographer for two European kings, King George II of England and King Louis of France. But look, watch this, y'all. What's unusual about this map that Emmanuel Bowen brought back to the two kings is that the center of the map, Bowen shows that the true name of the so-called slave coast was none other than the kingdom of Judah. Yeah. Judah was known by 4 different names at that time, family. It was called Judah, Wuda, W-H-I-D-A-H, Kuda, or Kuda, Q-U-I-D-A-H, or Abir, or Abir, A-B-I-E-R. Fact check me. So what does this mean of those of us that have been in pursuit of the truth? It means that we have proof from the royal map maker himself that Judah was indeed listed among the inhabitants of Africa.
They called him an engraver.
Yes, a cartographer.
Yeah, the word was engraver. So
Mm-hmm.
That was the word they used
Mm-hmm.
in time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Of even greater interest is the fact that the maps were not disputed by the two kings. So you would do well to take heed to the fact that the British laid claim to the so-called slave coast, and its inhabitants were sold into British colonies, and one is being North America. Now, I'm gonna give y'all
King George II and Louis the 15th?
Yep.
Right.
And I'm gonna give y'all where y'all can find one of the maps at. Then we go into the next subject. Northwestern University, authentic map of West Africa. The University of Northwestern in Evanston, Illinois. That's why I told y'all. That's where Henry Hoover. Watch, I'm gonna start showing y'all some stuff that's gonna blow your mind. Europeans been having videos. All this. Me and my dad talk about this all day. And I said, and then with all my European colleagues that I know in academia, they be like, "Well, you the one that teach us. We listen to you. Don't your people know that? We just can't show the videos and all that because we don't care about YouTube." You know, I'm like, I understand, but I do because I want to share this with my people. Has this? They all have the map. And List is at the authentic map of West Africa in 1747 by Emmanuel Bowden. And even to this day, there is a fort. They're called the Fort of Ajuda. And if you pull the information up online or on Northwestern University, this is what you will see. So I'm showing you how to research it. You will see Northwestern University Library Maps of Africa. The title is going to say, "A New and Accurate Map of Negro Land." It's going to say the cartographer, Emmanuel Bowen, 1747. And I got all these maps printed out in my archives. I printed them out, everything, got them laminated and everything. That's like I've been talking about, like, y'all don't understand about those fairs and a lot of those town fairs. It was a lot. When I showed y'all the Louisiana Purchase, the ground plans for Louisiana Purchase, and people like, that's just a fair map, man. You have no idea what you're looking at. That's your fault. That's your fault. And that's sad. And that's sad that was Negroes do. But we ain't even going to go there. So I just wanted to show that part. The last one I got to show is the chosen people. When I tell my brothers and sisters, man, we brothers. Rabbi Ford. This is Rabbi Ford right here. Rabbi Ford right there. Y'all know, a lot of people don't know who Rabbi Ford is. So let me break something down before I give this little synopsis of who he is. Pull up on YouTube, Neville Goddard and the Ethiopian Rabbi. When you pull up Neville Goddard, Neville Goddard, that's the European mystic that everybody, you know, a lot of Europeans say heavy. I did with the mind. He's a brilliant mind. But remember, I know where the science come from. And you would pull it up, how Neville Goddard was taught and his life was saved by the Ethiopian Rabbi. The Ethiopian Rabbi is right here. This is the Ethiopian Rabbi. When you pull it up, that's him right there in a turban. Now, let me read what it says. Rabbi Ford in a turban. Turbans were commonly used in the black spiritual churches. Let me say this again to all my misnomer black people that when they see me or they see my brother, which also Muslim, you know damn well we ain't no Muslims. No Al-Islam Muslim. You know that. You know we Moors. You know what our turban represents.
Right.
If you don't know, you playing a game. You playing a game. We don't celebrate nothing outside of ourselves. Anything outside of ourselves is true shirk. You know that, but we play games because we afraid of ourselves and we don't know. And when we see other people with their turban on, we be look at them. When we see the European Jew with his yarmulke on, ooh, when the Indian with his turban on, with the Al-Islam Muslim, whoa. When you see the Jew with their fringes on, what? But you think you some Negro, and this is your toppy, your Benin. And it's no disrespect. The followers of Yahshua wore turban. The high priest wore a turban with the jewels on it. Your fez is your national headdress. The Masons wear it clandestine. That's why you don't see no true brother with a fez on in real life, because they took an oath and they tassel is pinned down. What? Not to tell you the truth. That's why a misnomer black Mason, which is dead, they always say that they're a widow son. But the European Mason will tell you that he or she is a son of a Muslim. Why is that? Because the European Mason will know way more than the dead Negro. No disrespect. No disrespect. You can't be mad at me. Can't be mad at me. I'm just telling you what it is. Rabbi Ford in a turban. Turbans were commonly used in black spiritual churches. It didn't say in no synagogue. It said in the black churches. And it signified the mystical East. We are what? The silent brotherhood of the East. When used by black religious magical workers. We are the black religious magical workers. How? Because we're the silent brotherhood of the East. We are the black religious workers. I'm a high priest. This is what I'm telling you. What I'm trying to tell you. Why can I go on all to the Jewish synagogues and all the Catholic churches and all that and just like this and be accepted, but then around my Negroes that call themselves Christians and this and that and so-called black Masons and all that, and I teach other ones, they afraid because they've been lying to you, and the jig is up. The jig is up. The jig been up. When I show y'all pictures right here, You probably can't see it, but that's right there is Rabbi Mordecai Herman and the Moorish Zionist Temple of the Moorish Jews in 1920. Now, and in the background, you see the American flag and the so-called Israel flag, but Israel wasn't created a state or whatever until the 1940s. The Moorish Zionist Temple of the Jews, right here in the book. In the book. So I want brothers and sisters to understand. A lot of people don't know about Howard Thurman, old mystics. When I showed y'all Vernon Johns. See, it was brothers back then. This is what I was telling y'all the other day about old mystics, and nobles y'all like, I didn't remember who you was talking about. When I sent y'all in y'all email all about Vernon Johns, you know, and about these brothers, these mystics that taught like me, that spoke like me. They were educators and scholars. You know, at the time of his death, Howard Thurman was Dean Emeritus of Marsh Chapel, Boston University, Chairman of the Board of Trustees of Howard Thurman Educational Trust in San Francisco. He also served as Dean of Rankin Chapel, Howard University, Washington, D.C., as Professor of Howard University School of Religion, Director of Religious Life at Morehouse, Spelman, Atlanta, founder of the Church of the Fellowship of All People of San Francisco, the first interracial, interdenominational church in the United States. He was honorary canon of the Cathedral of St. John the Divine in New York. Poet, mystic, just like when the Europeans say poet, mystic, just like Vernon Johns was. Theologian. Thurman authored more than 20 books, including Meditations of the Heart, Jesus and the Disinherited, The Centenary Moment, The Mood of Christmas, and With Head and Heart. We have educators and scholars, but we don't know. I just want to set a precedent. So we're going to play this film, y'all. And my noble got this film. We only an hour in because I said I want a class to go at least an hour and a half. And while my noble is getting it set up, the black man is the father of civilization proved by the Bible alone. So I don't be wanting to hear no more of these Moors with all these stupid pictures of Caesar Borgia or Serapis Christos talk about some European Albion Trinidadic history. I'm tired of that. I'm so tired of that because the Bible gives the first account of the origin of mankind. It's accurate. Why? Because the misnomer black man has been misrepresented by prejudiced historians, lecturers. Remember this. It has been, and quoted, and even black preachers say this. They say that Ham, the father of the black man, was cursed by his father, Noah. You all know that. And now in regard of this incident, let us take the biblical record, y'all, because this ain't going to take long. And anyone not totally blind with prejudice will be convinced by reading in the book of Genesis, the 9th chapter from the 20th to the 27th verse, inclusively, that Noah did not. For he could not curse Ham, although he did in an intoxication, like, you know, Negroes do when they be drunk or just talking out the side of their mouth, pronounce a curse on Canaan, the son of Ham. In passing, you got to mention that Canaan was never inconvenienced by no stupid curse of Noah. Why? Because he was the father of what? 7 prosperous nations. The seventh son. Y'all don't hear me? Foremost among them were Canaanites, Phoenicians, and Sidonians. The Sidonians sprang from Sidon. You know Sidon in your Bible? Who was the first son of what? Canaan, according to, get your Bible, Genesis, the 10th chapter, the 15th verse. All you got to do is fact check me. These same Sidonians are the men descended from what? Misnomer black men, whom Solomon ordered what? Hiram of Tyre. See? Hiram of Tyre to engage to the skew hewing and design of the timber work of Solomon Temple. When I talk about Jabal and Jublim, who killed Hiram of Biff, y'all don't even know that. And then these Negro Masons wear a cane with balls on it, Tubal cane, and they don't know you've been castrated. You know where that come from? You don't even know. But that's a whole nother teaching. Solomon declaring these Sidonians, black men, were the only men possessed with anywhere near sufficient skill to take charge of successful, complete artistic timber work on this Solomon Temple. See, that's why they castrate you, for you can't say nothing. They make you as a eunuch. Yeah, you can't say nothing. You can't tell your people the truth. That's why what a lot of black Masons do, their kids, they don't teach their kids, they perverse. That's why they call you retarded and maimed. I'm telling you the truth. Ask any of your uncles or your Masons, that's Masons. I guarantee you, if they want to tell the truth. 1 Kings, the 5th chapter, the 6th verse, speaks very plainly of this fact. Solomon knew that the misnomer black race was superior, not an inferior. He married Pharaoh's daughter, right? In 1 Kings, the 3rd chapter, the 1st verse, the 7th chapter, the 8th verse, also the 9th chapter and the 16th verse. I'm setting the precedent. Solomon's wife might have been of as dark skin or even as black. as he was. For history shows that Egypt had two full-blooded Ethiopian pharaohs just before and during the reign of Solomon. Now, when I say black, I'm just describing the you of the individuals. Like when you get to the 1599 Geneva Bible, it calls you a blackamoor. It is describing the you of that certain Moor. I'm telling you facts because the 1599 Bible, they use that to convert into the English version, you know, into what they have today. I'm telling you facts. Research what I'm telling you. So if that's the fact, if they had the 1599 Geneva Bible, family, riddle me this. And in the 1599 Geneva Bible, everywhere in the modern Bible where it say black or whatever, in the 1599 Geneva Bible, it say blackamoor. See, if it would have had blackamoor in the Bible today, now light bulbs would have went up. Blackamoor, what is a black? You would have known that black is just describing the Moor because black is an adjective. You would have known that. It would have been able to break it down where black mean more. No, it don't. Where that mean black or black. No, in Spanish, negro mean black. Sorry again. You know, so in the biblical scriptures in Kings, the 6th chapter, it speaks very plainly of the fact. You know, Solomon's wife had been dark skinned. You know, history shows that they had those Ethiopian pharaohs, according to Herodotus. And Herodotus is a European scholar. The names of these two Ethiopians were Sabaco or Sabicos. I just showed y'all the history. If you've seen this one, you've seen that one. I hope y'all, I'm fast forwarded up. I'm synchronizing the teachings. I hope y'all catching what I'm saying. Sabaco or Sebichos and Setos, Sethos. So Solomon surely got an Ethiopian or Negro or black woman for a wife. See, this increased the portion of Negro blood in the veins of the future king of the Jews. Think about this. Don't be mad at me. See, we philosophers. During the process of the immediate descendants of Ham, you learn that a curse laid upon a mortal person at that time was foolish and ineffective. You know, the story about the curse, also the story of misnomer black man who contended that a black skin and woolly hair is a disgrace, has, according to the Bible, no foundation. Speaking of black skin, the greatest brain work and wisdom ever given to this world was given to a misnomer black skin, or at least those veins of the greatest portion of blood with Ethiopian or Negro blood. Watch this. As to the assertion and King Solomon, you got to look in the Songs of Solomon, 1st chapter, the 6th verse. I hope y'all writing this down. Solomon's dark skin should cause no surprise. Why? Because his mother, a Hittite, was also what? The widow of Uriah, Uriah. You know in your Bible. Oh, for real? Okay, go to 2 Samuel, the 12th chapter, the 9th and the 10th verse, and write that down and read it and come back to me. Because the Hittites are the descendants of who? Heth. And Heth was the second son of who? Canaan. All you got to do is see Genesis, the 10th chapter, the 15th verse. Man, I've been sticking the fork in this for years, man. Y'all still with me? If you with me, talk to me. Okay, if I'm cooking, tell me I'm cooking, because I'm cooking. I'm teaching and preaching. Reading your Bible in Titus, the qualifications of a pastor, a sheikah, to read it. Also the woolly hair, if they want to say of Yahshua, the blessed savior of mankind, I'm just setting the precedent, will have his head covered with woolly hair when he comes to judge the world. Okay, so let's get in your Bible. Daniel, the 7th chapter, the 9th and the 10th verse. Now, for all my people talk about, well, there's prophecy and this and that. Okay, well, if Daniel's prophecy is true, that when Christ left the earth, he had woolly hair, he naturally will return with woolly hair. Am I right about what I'm saying? Somebody fact check me, right?
It's only natural. Okay,
I'm just breaking down the story. And the pictures of him today are erroneous conceptions of him by the artist. And the grand old book, what book? The Bible, does not show that God ever turned a man black to disgrace him for his sins or anything else. But contraire, mon frère, watch this. The same Bible does show that God, that power, did turn a man white to disgrace him because of his sins, and said that his seed would be likewise forever. I'm just telling you what the Bible says, because facts are stubborn things and often very disagreeable. But when you take them to court, I don't care what you feel. It's the facts. Sometimes they are even sickening. And by reading carefully, my brothers and sisters, and my Christian brothers and sisters, the 5th chapter of the 2nd Kings, the 25th, the 26th, and the 27th verse, many of our highly civilized Christian brothers, whose ancient ancestors disgraced them, will suffer an alarming fit of nausea. See, you had some cowardly people amongst and done to the Negro during this so-called Christian era. I like to call it the Christian Dome era. No disrespect, because it ain't nowhere in the Bible that Jesus taught no Christian, and there were some Christians. No, they were followers of the way. Read it for yourself. Followers of the way. Be like me, not praise me. Read it for yourself. One poor, benighted individual published a joke in the book form, which he claims that the Negro is a beast. Y'all know what book I'm talking about. So you got to be a scholar. I bring this to my people. They wrote this. They study this in academia. They say the Negro is a beast, but you say you black, colored, African American. You a beast. You a sardine. The poor fellow tries to be serious and no doubt thinks he is offering at least some proof of his assertion. The poor fellow, of course, receives some sympathy and would no doubt receive much as any of the rest of his class, were it not for the fact that he holds a professorship in a leading American Christian university. See, I know all these professors. That's why I was able to debunk it. I did my oral dissertation at Grand Canyon University. Grand Canyon University is a Christian university. I got a dual master's degree in first century history, religion, and linguistics, and Christian history, and Christian leadership. I spoke just like this. So what people talking about? I ain't saying I'm better than you, but when they want an expert witness, I can come and I don't care how you feel. Just like in business, I'm educated and anointed to this. You don't got to like what I'm saying. I'm coming with an expert opinion. I don't care how you feel. I ain't got to convince you on the facts. But they remain regardless of what has been said and done against the Negro. You know, the black man, the misnomer black man, as I close this, was the father of civilization, born in the land of Egypt. Different branches of science, art, were simply transmitted to other races, which as the ages have rolled and have been enlarged to some extent and improved upon. Even the modern American Negro has proven that he is original. For instance, as an artist like my mama, she has no superiors. No Negro was ever known to enter a barber college, you know, for the trade. Negroes inherit the sweetest, most musical voices. And if you have ever heard a Negro quartet or a choir you have arranged, then you understand what I'm saying. Blind Tom, Blind Bone, name a few, you know? See, God honored the misnomer black man by allowing some of his Ethiopian blood to flow in the veins of his only son, Yahshua the Messiah. And I say this, I assert that Jesus, Yahshua, would in America today, y'all, be classified as a Negro or more. I make this assertion only on the authority of the Bible. Why? Because according to which Jesus, Yahshua, was born out of what? The tribe of Judah. Judah had only what? 5 children, and they were what? Males. First Chronicles, the 2nd chapter, and the 4th verse. I'm telling y'all, 3 by his first wife and 2 by his second wife. First Chronicles, the 2nd chapter, the 3rd and the 4th verse. Write this down. And both of his wives were what? Descendants of Canaan. What? A black man who was the son of Ham. In Genesis, the 10th chapter, the 6th verse. Fact check me this. That's why they don't talk about Ruth the Moabitess and Tamar and all them, because they're going to prove too much. Tamar, Judah's second wife, bore him 2 of these sons, whose name was Phares, Phares, and Zerah, Zarah. You can research this in First Chronicles, the 2nd chapter, and the 4th verse. These 2 names appear where? In the genealogy of Yahshua the Messiah, in the book of what, y'all? Matthew, the 1st chapter, the 3rd verse. You can't deny what I'm saying. But this is a white man. Well, how you a Moor? We from the tribe of Judah, lineage of David by blood, this Bible. Go have a seat. And go have a seat. When you confused or something the Bible says, go to those scholars. Go have a seat. So it's no trouble to see that Judah, of whom Christ was to come, started out how? By presenting the world children of Canaanite women who were what? Hamite descendants, y'all. Now, the Virgin Mary, of whom Christ was to born, was beyond all doubt a woman out of what? The tribe of Judah. And every Bible reference proclaimed that Jesus, Yahshua, was to spring from where, y'all?
Tribe of Judah.
Okay, well, you got that in the Bible? Absolutely. Genesis 49:10, Hebrews 7:14, Revelations 5, the 5th. Even Paul tells you in Romans 1:3 that Yahshua was of the seed of David according to the flesh. David is what? The 10th man, named in what? Or named from Judah in the genealogy of Yahshua the Messiah, right? Come on, y'all. For my Bible people, Matthew, the 1st chapter, the 3rd, the 4th, the 5th, and the 6th verse. Added to David's great-great-grandfather, Booz, was born of the woman Rahab, who was a direct descendant of Ham. Matthew, the 1st chapter, the 5th verse. This also shows that David, one of God's greatest soldiers, was one who most successfully led his people and one who had Negro blood in his veins. Why? Because the Bible history is full of honors of the misnomer black man. Remember Jethro, the Ethiopian, or the misnomer Negro father-in-law of Moses, who was the author who first employed that which is today the judicial system, but we know that come from Mayat. We know that. Considerably twisted and revised to meet changing conditions of civilization. Exodus, the 18th chapter, it tells Jethro's visit to Moses and how he gave Moses the foundation of what is today our system of graded courts for pronouncing judgments. Again, Moses, the Hebrew emancipator, was named by a misnomer black woman. Remember, Pharaoh's daughter. She said she called him Moses because she drew him out of the water. Exodus 2:10. And besides, brothers and sisters, misnomer black men educated Moses. At any rate, he received what education he had in the schools of the misnomer black people of Egypt. Research it in Acts, the 7th and the 22nd. So it's no remarkable. In fact, Booker T. Washington, Du Bois, Squirberg, all these other misnomer Negroes, we hold places, even myself, we here. So I wanted to set that precedent before my brother played this film. We only an hour in, but y'all got to know this. It's all here in the Negro question. And my brother gonna play this film. So sit back, y'all. This is a treat.
Street time, and I'm hoping that we learn. Now, just recently,
Yeah, you can fast forward a little.
Bill Gates see what can offer you. Now, let's get into it. I'll be back and talk about it.
Imagine making $453,000 in a single month as an affiliate marketer without relying on Google.
And the reason that I bring this up now is because we are in a religious political time where I just am seeing so much coming to light that as we speak forth the truth, there is pushback, but it needs to come forth in this time when these globalists are really pulling the strings, and so many people are blinded to the scriptures, blinded to historical truth, and they're led by their heartstrings, but it's not actually fact. One of those things, again, that people have been led for so many years is thinking that the Ashkenazi are in fact descendants of Shem. And we've discovered that the Ashkenazi are in fact the synagogue of Satan. They're the descendants of Japheth. They're Turkic Mongols from the Khazarian region that converted to Judaism in the 6th and 7th century. These are the things that we've discovered over the past few months. Those teachings came across in exposing the rotting stick of Israel and the synagogue of Satan that are in our archives. But then if I'm going to go forth and say, well, you know, those that say that they are Jews but are in fact not, but are the synagogue of Satan, and the Ashkenazi are in fact not Jews, they are sons of Gomer, Japheth, they're not even Shemites. Many people have come to me and said, well, who are the real Jews then? Where are the Jews and what's going on? I mean, we understand that we're Joseph's multicolored coat and we're exiled into the nations. But if Yahweh is gathering the whole house of Israel, all 12 tribes, and the stranger that wants to graft in and join, then where are the tribes and what's going on? So I think it's really important to address this subject because, as I said, 92% of the people that say that they are Jews today are in fact Ashkenazi, sons of Gomer, so thereby are the synagogue of Satan, they who say they are Jews and are not. So who are the real Jews? That's the question that has been posed to me many times over the past months. And there's really two answers to that question. And I'm going to be thorough today because I need to be thorough. Because when you speak about this, it's going to upset a lot of people. So we're going to have to take our time in the scripture. So bear with me. Two answers to that question. One, I already addressed in the rotting stick of false restoration and the synagogue of Satan teaching. And that is, who are the true Jews? Well, the Fehalim, which is a term for the so-called Palestinians, the migrant farmers that never left the land of Israel in 70 of the Common Era when the Romans came in. They still were attached to the land. They were called the Fehalim, or what we call today the so-called Palestinians, are in fact the descendants of the poor agricultural Jewish society that stayed in the land, yet they converted to Islam in the 6th and 7th centuries to avoid paying the Islamic jizya tax, because if they had done that, they would have lost their land, and they were attached to the land, so therefore they converted to Islam so that they could stay in the land, working the soil that their forefathers worked. This is recognized in 1918 by the historians David Ben-Gurion, who of course was the future Prime Minister of Israel back then, and Yitzhak Ben-Zvi, the future President of Israel. Both of them historians recognize this fact. Today, of course, it's buried in your history books. But what about the affluent, regal Jews that weren't connected to the land? Because we've addressed who the poor migrant workers are, the Fehalim. But not everyone in the tribe of Judah was connected to the land. There was a royal, regal class that were merchants that would travel throughout the empire and throughout Judea and throughout the Roman Empire as merchants. These were the regal, affluent Jews that weren't connected to the land, but they were engaged in trade and export. Who are they? And where did these royal, nomadic Jews migrate to? That's the question that I want to address today. Because we're going to be looking at and tracking the migration patterns and thus identifying the regal merchant class of the House of Judah, as opposed to who we've already identified, the poor migrant working class, which were the Fehalim, today's Palestinians. I can't stand it when the globalists, the society that tries to enslave us, names us. I'm not a Caucasian, okay? Because a Caucasian is an Asian from the Caucasus Mountain region.
Uh-oh.
The Russian steppes, Caucasian. I'm an Anglo-Saxon, which means a son of Isaac. So when they start to name you and you have to fill out these little boxes and the government hands you out these little, and check what race you are, they're the ones telling you who you are. Don't buy it, because I'm not Caucasian. Who's Caucasian? The Ashkenazi Khazars, the Turkic Mongols from the Russian steppes, the Caucasus Mountains. They are Caucasians. We've already explained that. But I'm an Anglo-Saxon. I grew up in England. I'm a son of Isaac. That's what it means. You see, so I'm not going to check those boxes because the New World Order, the globalists, trying to enslave us. But we serve an Elohim, and the first commandment is, I am Yahweh your Elohim, who delivered you from slavery.
Pause that right there. Pause that.
This whole political system right now is all about slavery. The globalists are slavers.
He said, I am, and this is what I wanted people to hear. He ain't afraid to say the name. He said, this is the name. He's saying it, but we still be afraid to say the name. I just wanted to make emphasis on that. He said, the name, the important. Here it is, he teaching just like me. What's wrong with us, y'all? What's wrong with us? I just wanted to make that emphasis. Proceed, brother.
And we, as Israel, have got to understand who our Elohim is. He is the one who delivers his people from slavery. And today you are seeing more slavery by the politicians in this land. And it is truly, truly troubling. And I need to speak out on it because Yahweh is calling Israel back. He is calling his people back. But you've got to understand that slavery is what keeps you in Egypt. But when you can expose that, you can finally be set free and serve Yahweh, the Elohim of Israel. So we're going to look and track now the migration patterns of the regal merchant class of the house of Judah. Because now we can see that the Caucasians are not pure white races, but a mixture of Asians that lived on the Russian steppes. Asians in the Caucasus Mountains, right? Caucasians. Ashkenazi Khazars. The Ashkenazi, they who say they are Jews and are not, are Caucasians. Khazarian Mongols. That's the truth. And you can check that box. They who say they are Jews and are not. But we're going to look into history. Even when you look at, say, a country like Ethiopia in Africa, and you dig into the history of Menelik I and Menelik II, you'll understand that they were descendants of King Solomon. Menelik meaning from the Melech, from Melech, from the king, from the king. But what about Egypt? What about Mitzrayim, Egypt? What about Egypt? The pharaohs were black. They weren't white. They were black. Egypt is Mitzrayim, and it means burnt face, or black. The ancients referred to their country as Kemet, which has been written in a variety of ways. Kemet, Kemit, Kem, Al-Kem, and it literally means the black land, or the land of the blacks, Mitzrayim. How did Moshe Rabbeinu go undetected for 40 years if he was a Caucasian in the land of the black faces? How did he go undetected for 40 years? How did Joseph's brothers not recognize him in the land of the black faces if he was a white man? Can you tell me that? Noah called his son Ham, in the Hebrew, Ham, Het Mem Sofit, and it means hot. Kemet and Ham are the same words in the Hebrew, which represented the coloring of the people of Mitzrayim, Egypt. What happens if something stays hot for a long time? It burns and turns black, right? So you start to look at the scriptures and you start to see that we serve an Elohim that delivers people from slavery. And then I get sick and tired of what's been going on in the run-up to these elections. And coming from England, where I see things so different in this country, because I come from outside and come into it, and I see all the fermentation, and it really troubles me. But the scripture and historical truth is what will set us free.
I'd like to teach you how to make $5,000 a month online by simply being what I call a digital middleman, which helps Stacy, who's a lovely stay-at-home mom,
But democracy is designed to enslave you. It was invented by the Greeks, and we understand from the scriptures who was sold to the Greeks. Joel speaks about that. In Exodus chapter 2, Shemot chapter 2, verse 19, Moshe was described as a Mitzri, which means a blackface, from the land of the blacks. They didn't say that he was a Mitzri Laban, a Mitzri Laban. What was Laban? Remember Laban? He was an albino. He was white, an albino. And you can see that in Africa today. There are albinos. But he would have been described, if he was white, as a Mitzri Laban. But he wasn't. Which would have meant he was an albino African, but he wasn't. Just like Yaakov's uncle was an albino. You see, the ancient Egyptians were a Kemetic people. They were black. In 1965, the former president of Egypt, Gamal Abdel Nasser, said he couldn't respect the present Jews in Israel because they left Israel black and they came back white.
Stop it right there. We're going to stop right there.
Caucasians when they returned.
We're going to stop right there. We are hour and 30 minutes in, so let's stop it right there. We can continue to play it, but I hope everybody getting the picture, what we're talking about and what we're displaying and what we're showing you, you know, all through history. That is nothing new. And it's here for us, man. We got to get off that today, that slavery, not understanding the 13th and the 14th and the 15th Amendment, not understanding manumissions. We got to stop that and connect ourselves to histories and law. And we right here, man, this is a safe place for brothers and sisters to come learn this science and learn this Moorism from our brothers and sisters that can teach this stuff systematically. And we have a full library. And like today, everybody that's here today with us today, I have 2 copies left already printed out of Criminalizing the Race. You know, if anybody want them, y'all can get them from me. All you got to do is hit me up. Go on Amazon and see how much Criminalizing the Race is by Sharice C.L. McIntyre. You will want this. And the reason why you don't know is because you don't have the wisdom and you're not introduced to it. But right here, our doors is open at the BBT because we're a school and you are the church, the people. And I'm only as good as the people that's with me, man. So I need our people's support as we continue to move. I need your time, your donations, whatever it can be to help us continue to spread this mission, for we can continue to print literature, we continue to be on social media, so we can move how we want to move and continue to be private. We have classes starting up soon, so we're going to be casting out our net. Man, you don't want to miss these brothers and sisters if you want to learn. Please get with us. But like I said, we have everything and we are school, whatever you need. So I give y'all gratitude for taking time out y'all day for learning. And once again, thank you everybody that donated. If you donated to our Temple and School today, this would be my treat. If you donated to our Temple and School today, $25, I will send you a PDF copy of this book to your email. If you want it printed and bound it, then I have to turn you on to one of my other brothers because somebody just hit me up. They already done got these 2 books, so y'all too slow. Sorry about it. I'm sorry. That's what I be telling people, Malik. I got a whole nother platform going on, and all the college people be on there like, you still got them 2 books? They gone now. Sorry. They did. And I had them printed for people. He just went on Amazon. He said, man, you know how much that book costs on Amazon? Yeah. All my muftis do. Thousands. The book costs, oh, I'm sorry. I only got my camera on. I'm sorry. This book right here is thousands on Amazon. And like Malik be saying, the reason why you don't know, because you don't have a library. and then you're not gonna pay for all that. It's right here. And so I had these 2 copies for people printed out. You could have got for a small donation, but you can get the PDFs for $25. But if you want them printed and bind it, all you got to do is send an email, and I'll let my mufti know. If he's busy, I can have one of my other muftis do it, or I can print it myself, and I'll let you know how much they are printed and bind it. You got to have these, man. But with that being said, gratitude for y'all time. Anybody got any other questions or anything they want to add to what we're talking about? I love questions or anything if anybody have.
They come on, learn the stuff that resonates with you. 'Cause you know internally that the stuff you've been taught doesn't resonate with you. So come learn the stuff that resonates you and how it resonates and why it resonates. That way you can explain it to your children and your family.
Mm-hmm. Islam. We can remove the anger and the so-called gatekeeping things when brothers be like, oh, they want to be Freemasons. Today, no, you don't. First coming out of slavery, you might, but I'm telling you, no, you don't. No, you don't. Because what science, we can sit down here and we can have a quiz bowl like scholars do, and not over no religion was better, but from facts, like we judges, and let's deal with the facts and see what any Freemason tell you the truth and compare the data and the information. They won't even show up. I guarantee you, because it's going to reveal and illuminate all the hogwash. Even my sisters, that's DAR, that's the so-called Eastern Stars, that's under the Daughters of American Revolution. They can get the smoke too, with love. With love, without no disrespect, with love, because that's what we do, and we resurrecting the science, and that's what this is about. So our doors are open, y'all. Don't just sit on it. Don't be a spectator, be a participator. You know, come learn. Well, gratitude for everybody taking time out their day. Can we get our Moorish American prayer, please? Or if anybody else got something?
Nah, I watched the whole video earlier, so I don't have no questions. He did an extravagant job of explaining things.
Didn't he?
Connect this thing forward. Yeah.
Didn't he?
Ding, ding, ding. If you don't get it from there, I don't know where. He walked you down the yellow brick road.
Held your hand. He
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put your hand on the way.
got on the breast per se. Like knocked all your teeth out, turned you to a baby. Like let me nurture you, baby. Let me nurture you.
Right. And then fed you along the way.
That's why I be saying, man, the prophet always said, no disrespect, but the Europeans going to be here to teach you this stuff. It's nothing new under the sun. I can't be that crazy. I went to academia to learn this and graduated with academia as a scholar in my craft, in my field. And then I'm in Arizona.
Adding value to the non-Europeans that showed me. So
yeah,
it was already in me. It was just brought out.
Yes, and that's what we're supposed to do, bring it out. That's what a map and a guide does. It brings confidence, you know? It brings things where we can be confident on our own. We come together, we mighty. That's what this is about. That's why I call it a brotherhood. I said, man, you can't be inspired by your brother, what? Or be reassured. Once you reassured of something, that should give you confidence, what? To be part of this. That's what's wrong with misnomer black people, because they don't understand the brotherhood. And the Bible talks about it. The biblical scripture said brotherhood is like sweet oil coming down to your head, down to your beard, onto your shirt. Man, brotherhood is a beautiful thing.
Absolutely.
We initiated through the wisdom and through the Holy Spirit. We ain't took no oath. It's sacred with us, but ain't nothing secret. How can I say I have the keys to save us and it be secret, Malik? How?
And how are you saying that if it's a secret?
So, once again, man, if y'all want a copy of Criminalization, Erase, The Free Blacks During Slavery by Sharice C.L. McIntyre, for a small $25 donation, you can get the PDF book from me, and you can get a taxes and receipt, because we a temple and school. So, can somebody give us our Moorish American prayer? I don't know if Alonzo here to be able to do our benediction. If not, I have it ready.
Allah, Father of the universe, Father of love, truth, peace, and justice. Allah is our protector, our guide, and our salvation by night and by day. Through his holy prophet, through Ali, Amen, Ashe, Shalom Aleichem, Sha'ar, along with sheep, building in bay in the flesh. Inshallah and Ashe. Peace, 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 peace.
Peace, 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 peace. Our benediction reads, May the benison of Allah be upon thee and thine always, as thou should strive to be a credit to Allah. Make haste to bestow thy acts of love upon all our brothers and sisters, and doest thy best to shun all evil ones. Remember to take suckle of the breast of knowledge, wisdom, fortitude, charity, love, and all standing, that ye might nourish the souls of all men. Let the truth be thy shield in the manifest battles of falsehood. Knoweth that Moors need not pick the lock to the gates of paradise by means of petty or criminal theft. For behold, the key to salvation already rests within our own hands. And yes, even though a portion of our nature is weakness, instability, inconstancy, there is still the greater part of our nature that is divine. May Allah, may Buddha, whatever name you praise, may it guide you, may it preserve you, may it lengthen your age, and may it give you everlasting peace. Come on, Malik. El Rahman, El Rahim, Ya Haq, Ya Muhammad. I said, peace, 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 peace. Shalom, Alakim, shalom, alaikum. I love y'all, man. Gratitude is the attitude, but come to BBT, man. Like Suge Knight said, if you tired of your so-called sheik, if you're a preacher, scared to tell the truth, scared to wear his turban, scared to wear his fez, scared to be specific. Yeah, dancing all in your videos, eating all that slave food, not working out. Come to the BBT. You heard me?
You heard?
I love y'all, man. Take us out, Noble Brian.
That's books.
With the Z.
This broadcast is brought to you by mypdfbooks.com. That's books with the Z, where reading fundamentals. Also brought to you by mindedbooks.com, where treasures are bound. Be sure to get all of your teas at herbsofmyaunt.com. My Aunt Sons, TNTs, divinely prepared. Also, be sure to check out all of those musical styles by Brian Hits Faith at bhbaynews.com. And for your everyday items and religious regalia, be sure to check out MorrisHaberdasher.com. And for every day, especial Morris Drilling, be sure to check out MorrisHaberdasher.com. And all of these companies are powered by ALO Design Pros. Design your online business strategy today.
I'm a spirit speaking, truth seeking,
heart reaching, knowledge leaking, seed sowing, harvest reaping, man breathing. I have yet to leave, I'm still breathing. To quit, I have no reason. I think I must leave, but I've been trying to live my dream. I cannot even act if it's all easy. Either you gon' lose it or you don't really. It ain't no in between, baby. You can ask the sun, it's an everyday thing. Consistency in your routine is how you bring reality. Working like a slave, that's how I made this masterpiece. Living like a god, I lay at night, I rest in peace. They remember me, but I am not around the people.
Woo! Come on, Brian. Come on, man. Yes, sir. You know it. That's the vibe, y'all. Who got the vibe, y'all? Who got the vibe at the tribe, y'all? Yeah, yeah. Peace and love, family.
Peace and love.
Yeah.